Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be multiplying fractions. Our first example is 4 over 5 times 1 over 2. And since I do have proper fractions here, I can just go ahead and multiply across. So 4 times 1, the numerator is going to be 4 times 1, and then my denominator is going to be 5 times 2. So if I multiply across, 4 times 1 is 4, and then 5 times 2 is going to give us 10. 2 goes into both 4 and the 10, so I'm going to do 4 divided by 2, and then 10 divided by 2. I'm going to simplify. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5. So your final answer is going to be 2 over 5. Another way that you can solve this problem is if you do cross-reducing or canceling. So for an example, I'm going to look at my 1 and 5. I do not have any common factors between the two, so I'm just going to leave it alone as 1 and 5. However, I do have a common factor between my 4 and the 2. The common factor we have is the number 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. So my fraction here is going to be 2 over 5. And over here, we have 1 over 1. So I'm going to multiply across. We have 2 times 1 over 5 times 1. Your numerator is going to be 2, and your denominator is going to be 5. So your final answer is 2 over 5. So you do get the same answer. You can cancel or cross-reduce first, and then multiply like we did over here, or you can multiply across and then you can simplify your answer at the end. Let's try 7 over 9 times 1 over 9. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. We have 7 times 1 over 9 times 9. So 7 times 1 is 7 over 9 times 9 is 81. And since I cannot simplify any further, your final answer is 7 over 81. So let's try 3 over 5 times 4 over 7. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. We have 3 times 4 on the top, and then we have 5 times 7 at the bottom. 3 times 4 is going to give us 12, and 5 times 7 is going to give us 35. Since I cannot simplify any further, your final answer is 12 over 35. Let's try 1 over 4 times 8 over 9. I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 8, we have 1 times 8 on top. This is going to give us 8. And then in our denominator, we have 4 times 9. This is going to give us 36. And in this example, we know that the number 4 goes into both my 8 and the 36. So 8 divided by 4 is going to give us 2. And then 36 divided by 4 is going to give us 9. So your final answer is 2 over 9. Let's try the other way. Let's see if we had to cross cancel. So we have 1 over 4 times 8 over 9. Let's see what we get. 1 and 9 do not have any other common factors, so I'm going to leave that alone. My 4 and 8, we do have common factors. So 4 goes into 4 one time, and then 4 goes into 8 two times. So your fraction over here is going to look like 1 over 1 times your fraction over here is going to look like 2 over 9. 1 times 2, we're going to multiply across, is going to give us 2. In your denominator, 1 times 9, this is going to give us 9. So your final answer as well here, if you do cross canceling, is going to still give you the same answer. Let's try 3 over 5 times 2 over 3. So I have proper fractions here. I'm just going to multiply across. So we have 3 times 2 over 5 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Over 5 times 3 is 15. In this example, we can simplify my 6 and 15 because the number 3 goes into both the 6 and the 15. So 6 divided by 3 is going to equal 2, and then 15 divided by 3 is going to equal 5. So your final answer is 2 over 5. So let's try the other way to see. 5 and 2 do not have any common factors. However, my 3 and 3, they do have common factors. 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 also goes into 3 one time. So your fraction over here is going to look like 1 over 5 times your fraction over here is going to look like 2 over 1. I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. So 1 times 2 is 2, and then 5 times 1 is 5. So whichever option you do, you will get the same answer. So let's look at this example here. We have a whole number times a proper fraction. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this 5 into a fraction. This whole number, I'm turning it into a fraction by placing my 1 right under my 5. Because remember, 5 equals 5 over 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. So we have 5 times 4 in my numerator, and then my denominator, we have 1 times 13. So 5 times 4, this is going to give us 20. And then 1 times 13, this is going to give us 13. So your answer is going to be 20 over 13. However, this is an improper fraction. So we want to turn this into a mixed number. So we're going to go here and we're going to put our 13 on the outside and our 20 on the inside. So 13 goes into 20 how many times? It goes in 1 time. So 13 times 1, this is going to give us 13. 20 minus 13 is going to equal 7. So your answer is going to be 20 over 13, or, which simplifies as a mixed number, is going to turn into 1 from your quotient up here. And then your remainder is going to be your numerator over 13, which is your divisor, which is going to stay the same. And this is your final answer. So let's try 6 times 4 over 5. So here we have a whole number times a proper fraction. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my whole number, is 6 here, we're going to turn this into a fraction. So this is going to look like 6 over 1. Remember, 6 equals 6 over 1. So we have 6 times 4 in my numerator, and my denominator we have 1 times 5. 6 times 4 is 24, and then 1 times 5, this is going to equal 5. All right, so your answer is 24 over 5. However, this is an example of an improper fraction. So we want to turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to have our 5 on the outside, 24 on the inside. 5 goes into 24 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 24 minus 20 is going to equal 4. So your answer is going to equal 24 over 5, or if you're turning it into a mixed number, this is going to equal 4 from your quotient. Your remainder is going to be your numerator, and then your divisor, which is your denominator, that's going to stay the same. So this is your final answer. Let's try 3 1/3 times 2. So we're going to do 2 things first before we multiply. So first thing, I'm going to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction, and then I'm going to turn this whole number into a fraction. So let's go down here. If I have 3 1/3, first thing we're going to do, we're going to multiply 3 times 3. This is going to equal 9. And you're going to add 1. This is going to be 10. So I'm going to write 10 over 3 here. And then I have my 2. So I'm going to turn this 2 into a fraction. It's going to be 2 over 1. You have your imaginary 1 right there. And now we're going to multiply across. So we have 10 times 2 in my numerator, and then we have 3 times 1 in my denominator. 10 times 2 is 20, over 3 times 1 is 3. 20 over 3 is an example of an improper fraction. The number on top, which is my numerator, is larger than the number at the bottom, which is my denominator. So let's go ahead and turn this into a mixed number. So we're going to put our 3 on the outside and our 20 on the inside. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 20 minus 18 is going to equal 2. So your mixed number is going to look like 6, which is from your quotient, 2, which is from your remainder, over 3, which is your divisor, and this is your final answer. So let's try this example here. I have a proper fraction and a mixed number. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. So we have 1 and 1/3 here. I'm going to multiply 1 times 3. This is going to give us 3 plus 1. This is going to give us 4. So this is going to equal 4 over 3. So I have 7 over 10 times 4 over 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply across. So 7 times 4 is going to be in my numerator. And then in my denominator, we have 10 times 3. So 7 times 4 is going to give us 28. In my denominator, 10 times 3, this is going to give us 30. And I'm going to go ahead and simplify my answer because the number 2 goes into both 28 and 30. So 2 goes into 28 14 times, and 2 goes into 30 15 times. So your final answer is 14 over 15. Let's say we had to multiply two mixed numbers. Before we do anything, I'm going to turn these mixed numbers into an improper fraction, and then we're going to multiply. 2 and 1 over 7, and then we have 1 and 3 over 4. So 2 times 7, this is going to give us 14, plus 1 is going to be 15. So this is going to equal 15 over 7. When we come over here, we have 1 times 4. This is going to equal 4. Plus 3 is going to equal 7. So this is going to turn into 7 over 4. 2 and 1 7 is going to equal 15 over 7 times 1 and 3/4 is going to equal 7 over 4. Now I'm going to multiply across. So my numerator, we have 15 times 7. In my denominator, we have 7 times 4. 15 times 7 is going to give us 105. And then 7 times 4 is going to give us 28. So we have 105 over 28. I can simplify my answer because the number 7 goes both into the 105 and the 28. So 105 divided by 7 is going to equal 15. And 28 divided by 7 is going to equal 4. And 15 over 4 is an example of an improper fraction. My number on top is larger than the number at the bottom. So let's go ahead and turn this into a mixed number. 15 on the inside, 4 on the outside. 4 goes into 15 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. 15 minus 12 is going to equal 3. So your answer is going to equal 3 from your quotient. That's your whole number. Your remainder, 3, is your numerator. And that's going to be over 4, which is your divisor. And this is your final answer. And remember, if you are multiplying fractions, if they have a common factor, you can simplify first and then multiply. So the same exact example, 15 and 4 do not have common factors, so I'm going to leave those alone. However, 7 and 7, they do have common factors, so I can go ahead and simplify this now. 7 goes into 7 one time. 7 also goes into 7 one time. So you're going to get 15 over 1 times 1 over 4, which is going to give you, if you multiply across, 15 over 4. And then when you turn it into a mixed number, you're going to get 3 and 3/4. All right, so that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.